didn't bring my homework.
Yeah, that's, I know, who did? Nobody. I was just telling him. Guess what? I did. I made extra copies of it all because I knew nobody would show up. All right, so since we have such a small class tonight, I'm going to we're going to do a short version of this. I won't do a summary of rhythm because we all know I'm not good. There's basically only three elements in music. There's rhythm, there's melody, and there's harmony. Okay. The interesting thing about music is you can have music without harmony. A very good example of that is East Indian music. East Indian music is all about the interplay between melody and rhythm. And what they do is they take simple diatonic melodies. They use the same 7-note scale that we do, except they count to 16 instead of 12. We like to do the blues and count to 12. They like to count to 16. They like to do, 4 sets of 4, or, and what they do is when they're playing their melodies and their little diatonic melodies, they make it as rhythmically complex as they can. And so sometimes they'll also do things that are like 10 and a half beats, if you could imagine that. If 10 and a half beats or 21, you count out to 10, then you count to 10 and then add 1. So they call it 10 and a half. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1. And that's 10 and a half. So it's 21. So you play blackjack. And the thing is, yeah, so it's all about the interplay. East Indian music is all about this interplay between the melody and the rhythm. In the Western tradition, we have harmony. And it turns out we have chord progressions. And guitar players are a really good example of people who can play chord progressions but don't play melody. And it's all an interplay between them playing and strumming chord progressions and the rhythm. And in the Western tradition, there is a big emphasis between the relationship of the melody to the harmony. The melody and the harmony are the main component that's being used there. So as a composer, if you want to compose something that sounds like the Western tradition, then it's a buy-off between the melody and the harmony. But if you want something that sounds Eastern, then you focus on the melody and the rhythm. Okay? Now, music can exist without melody, and music can exist without harmony. But music cannot exist without rhythm. It's the long organizing time. Edgar Varese said, music is disciplined sound. By that he said, I use time to organize sound. And the sounds I organize aren't necessarily things that anybody likes but me. But I do have a timing plan the timing. And then structure, a lot of structure. So many times modern composers, 21st century, 20th and 21st century composers, are more concerned with texture, than they are with harmony or melody. And so it's all about making noise within a time scheme, and that time scheme has a larger plan, like a form or shape or an architectural something or other scheme that they're putting in all. So when you learn music, the reason we started with rhythm is because that's the most important thing about it. And if you want to learn to read and write, then learning rhythm is the most important thing. And that is the thing that, over the years working with my students, has been the one thing. You get a lot of people who are rhythmic deaf and they have to work really hard to get it, but we'll get it. I rarely run into people who are harmonically deaf, basically, or can't hear chord progression. And you do run into people sometimes that can't quite get these melodies, if they're 7-note, but if you go back to like 5-note melodies and use a pentatonic scale or just use a major chord, then they'll start to hear it and they'll start to lock in. Okay? So rhythm is important, and that's why we started with rhythm, and we work with the code words as a way that you can hear things and then you can write those then. And we showed you how to take those code words and use what I called pushing the notes of the code words up and down into a rhythmic curve. And then that rhythmic curve gave us some kind of a melody shape to those rhythms that we wrote out. And then we were able to try to pick up an instrument and tap out on an instrument something and use pentatonic. We're using the pentatonic scale to take those rhythms, those rhythmic curves, and apply the scale to it. And we came out with a little melody. And then one week here we actually went and not only went through the room and had each one make up a rhythm and then a melody, had them sing it, we figured it out, and then we put chords to it. Angel and I sat here and figured out how to put chords to that. So that's the basics of getting started, okay? Now what we've been focusing on is melody and reading music. And reading music, again, for ear training, you want to start with the major chord. So you want to be able to sing 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1 in every key, starting from any position on the keyboard, or get any instrument, or like a harmonica. Here's a toy harmonica I bought for all of $2. And I bought it because the reeds go out after about 6 months and you can throw it away and buy another one for $2 instead of buying a $40 harmonica, which also dies in 6 months and you throw that away. So I start with a note. Do, 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1. And if I played that on a harmonica, so there's my first major chord. 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1. Now once I have that, if I play those 3 notes at the same time, I get a chord. Major chord. Down an octave. Up an octave. The nice thing about a harmonica is it has 3 octaves, and if you blow in any one of those 3 places, you get a whole chord. So, okay. And then what are we hearing? 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1. Now, once you got that, you should be able to sing a pentatonic scale off of that chord, right? So, 1, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. And that's the easiest scale for you mere mortals to get. And it's also the one that guitar players use a lot. A lot of guitar players play the pentatonic scale. And when they do, they find my guitar diagram, which I finally did bring this week. I had it on here just a second ago. But, and I didn't bring the guitar. Here it is. Put this up here. See if you can get a close-up of that. This is the guitar. This is the fattest string on the guitar. This is the skinny string on the guitar. They call this string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and string 6. Okay? And frames are as if you took the guitar and sat it up with the bottom here and the neck standing up like this, and you're looking at it that way. And you'll see here that there's this pattern of jumping over 3 frets and then doing every other fret. And then here, jumping over 3 frets and jumping over 3 frets. And what this does is, if you play this pattern on the guitar, you'll get this scale. If we start here with our finger, or with this, either this finger or this finger on the guitar, and this pattern, by the way, was designed to start with the pinky. There's only 3 ways that you can start a major scale on the guitar. You can play it with starting with your index finger. There's one pattern. There's another pattern that starts with the middle finger to play the scale. And there's another pattern that starts with the pinky to play the scale. And this is the pattern that starts with the pinky that I'm showing you here. And that's it. There isn't any comfortable way of playing a major scale coming off of the ring finger. So guitar players tend to avoid it. Jazz guitar players prefer the one that comes off the middle finger because it gives them notes on either side of their hand and allows them to run up and down the keyboard this way. And that middle finger feels comfortable, and so a lot of jazz musicians use only that one. If you were to learn only one fingering pattern on the guitar, I would suggest you learn to play off of the middle finger and off of the pinky. Those two. The one that comes off of the index finger is very clumsy and doesn't work fast. So guitar players will just learn to take this major scale off of these 2 fingers, and that's it. And if you learn those 2 patterns, folks out there that are playing guitar, if you learn the fingering pattern for the pinky, And then you learn the fingering pattern for the, off of your middle finger, and you'll be able to play the guitar, and you should be able to play just about anywhere. Hi, Stan.